So this week we are shining a spotlight on three games because there was no point in separating these. They're all Japanese exclusives for the Game Boy Advance. It is the Densetsu no Starfy series. So Densetsu no, we'll go in order. Densetsu no Starfy released September 6, 2002, the first game in the series on the Game Boy Advance. It was developed by Tosei and published by Nintendo. The game stars Starfy, a clumsy star prince who falls from Puff Top Palace into the ocean, where he teams up with a clam to defeat a demon Ogura. Gameplay mainly focuses on underwater platforming with Starfy's signature spin attack, mixed in with some land segments and mini games. The game sold over 500,000 copies in Japan, which keep in mind, smaller area. So it's a more positive figure there. But it was never released overseas. Nintendo felt it was too Japanese. So this is the anti Toe Jam and Earl, which is too American, I guess. Put them both in Smash Brothers. Let's sort it out that way. Anyway, Starfy. It originated from a rejected idea for a Game Boy Color Wario title, and leftover code in the game includes references to the debug menus and unused two-player mode from that Wario game. My thoughts on this one: I feel like if you took the water stages from Donkey Kong Country, or like maybe Echo the Dolphin, kind of, you mix them with Kirby, you kind of get this game. The the doors and like the floating mechanic, especially very Kirby-esque. There's also a Sega mascot called Rystar that they're both
Oh,
like
yeah, yeah.
star-shaped mascots. Anyway, stage-based platforming, uh, exploration elements. That's what you're getting here. What was your thoughts, Harrison?
Right. Directed by Hitoshi, which is kind of nice because it's kind of relevant to recent Nintendo news. Hitoshi was one of the developers of the mouse for Mario Paint. So
Mhm.
I thought that was interesting. And this game was originally developed for Game Boy, not Game Boy Color. It was originally developed for the Game Boy, and then they said,
Really? My
"Oh."
notes said color.
What I read is that it was developed for the Game Boy, and then they said, "Oh, the Game Boy Color is coming out. You should make it for that one." So they developed it and
Oh,
reconceptualized it for the Game Boy Color, but then it
gotcha.
took so long that they said, "Oh, we have the Game Boy Advance coming out, and the Game Boy Color." I guess
So
a
it
lot
missed
of pe
both, basically.
I guess a lot of people pulled their development for Game Boy Color games after the Game Boy Advance was announced,
Mhm.
and I think the development overall is very impressive considering this game was redone a couple of times, and then, um, in context, when I look at the other 2 games, if we look at it as a proof of concept, the other 2 games came out just a little over a year, following. So, overall, I think it is a very fun game that fits into the era very well. But when it comes to platformers like this one, I hate water, so I'm gonna be biased. And hey, it's my ranking. It's gonna be my ranking, so I can put my own
Mhm.
opinions into this. And just for a platformer, I feel like there's something missing if I don't have a connection and there's not a unique mechanic. With that being said, I think the mechanics work well. So how about gameplay,
Yeah,
Kevin? What do you think?
I did look into I looked up, like, how do Japanese players typically rank these games in the series, and, it's given a little bit away because we haven't talked about the sequels yet, but it's usually in reverse order, like, the games got better as they went, so they usually rank them, like, 3, 2, 1. And so what you said about this being like very basic is totally true. This was where they kind of created the series and then improved upon it in the future. Um, Gameplay, I kind of liked the water environment. I didn't it didn't like sway me one way or another, but I thought it was kind of a cool change of pace. But I don't know. I maybe we should rank these as we go. What do you think?
Yeah,
I'm gonna
yeah,
say
yeah.
I ranked this one. They're all ranked together, but this one I ranked at 87. So that's kind of the line on my list of where like games I like to play and games I'm just like, okay, this is playable starts. And then like the next line would be this game is bad.
Um, I put this just a little bit above. I put it at 72, and I know that just about a year ago there was an English translation that was released unofficially, and
Mm.
I think it's brought
Yeah, I don't
actually.
know why they didn't put that on there.
Yeah, they could have just stolen it as always. Always gonna bring it up, but I think it did bring a lot of eyes onto this game, and I'm pretty sure
Mhm.
Starfy is the profile picture of the GBA ROM hack or whatever subreddit. I'm getting it wrong
That's
now,
funny.
but whatever. It's a blue Starfy
Yeah,
on
no,
there.
that's funny.
Seems to be a small following. And then the next two, I'm gonna have similar feelings. So kick it off. Yeah.
Okay. Densetsu no Starfy 2 released September 5th, 2003, the next year on the Game Boy Advance, and again developed by Tosei and published by Nintendo. Picking up after the first game, Starfy and his little clam friend, they escape. The bad guy escaped. Sorry, and this time, the bad guy's name is Ogura, split into 10 forms, which are the bosses of the game, and you must defeat them across new worlds. The core spinning attack per uh, platforming returns with expanded land stages this time. It's not mostly underwater. More mini games, new transformations such as riding animals. Was another commercial hit in Japan, but like its predecessor, never made it over here. Unused data in the game suggested a link cable feature, which may have been planned at some point, but didn't happen. And some sprites hint at scrapped Donkey Kong cameo, which did not happen either. Starfy 1, like I said, it was very water heavy. 2 balances it with more on foot platforming, and it introduced the transformations. I made a list of everything you can transform here. Let me see. What did it say? The sequel introduces transformations, animal baddies. Starfy can team up with um like Kirby or Wario Land. Oh yeah, so you team up with these like you do in Kirby or Wario Land. So you've got Old Man Lobber the Lobster. It lets Starfy shoot bubbles to trap enemies or hit switches. A little bubble bobble there. Kangaroo lets Starfy ride and jump higher on land, kind of like Yoshi style helper. You got a sheep, creates storm clouds and lightning attacks to clear obstacles or defeat enemies. Got a dragon that breathes fire, giving Starfy a strong offensive power underwater. And you've got a seal that helps Starfy swim faster and break through ice obstacles, kind of like the that swordfish thing in Donkey Kong or anything that lets
On
you break through
guard.
walls.
My god, that's his name.
And in this one, treasures are more tied to progression and story than in the first game, encouraging you to replay levels.
Dude.
Right. Just overall overall like natural progression, natural improvement.
Mhm.
And I didn't say in the first one that I think it should be commended also for just like the graphics and graphic style, especially if they had to, go from Game Boy, Game Boy Color, Game Boy Advance, and we all know like the how different all of those were. So yeah, I mean, I would prefer this game slightly more. I think this game is not that big, but definitely bigger. And I wrote down, usually I'm trying to switch up genres on these spotlight games, but I mean, if you wanted to add value, since I don't have any connection to these mascots, maybe add, exploration. Maybe make it into a Metroidvania or something. Give more
Yeah,
value to yeah,
my first thought when I saw these games was I thought they were Metroidvanias, but they're not.
yeah, yeah. It would make sense. So, like overall, I just have that feeling, which is why it ranks in the middle, that it misses something for me. But it's like, again, it's a good example of a early 2000s uh platformer. So for me, and I'll start it, I just put it one above at 71, has less water levels, and I think just overall improvement. How about you?
Same thing. I ranked it at 86. The first one is 87. It's just one above. Then Detsu no Starfy 3 released August 5th, 2004, again the next year. On the Game Boy Advance, again developed by Tosei, developed by published by Nintendo. The story has Starfy and Kaiorusuke leaving Puff Top Palace to rescue Starfy's mother after a new threat arises from the ocean depths. Gameplay expands further with new worlds, animal helpers, and the introduction of Starfy's sister Stappy, who becomes a playable character in certain segments. The game also added a save system that tracked collectibles more thoroughly, refining the formula from the first two. Despite its popularity in Japan, it remained unreleased overseas. The game also contains hidden data referencing the Nintendo e-reader, suggesting that that was in a planned, you know, thing at one point. And fans have discovered that parts of the code were later reused in Super Princess Peach on the DS, another Tosei developed title. So I don't know enough about coding to know what they're referring to there, but it's interesting.
Hmm, I,
So
I know
yeah,
that.
Animal Helpers in Starfy 3, you've got most of them returning from 2, and then new, you've got a penguin that can create ice platforms and freeze water. You've got a bear that helps smash through heavy obstacles and push large objects. And you've got a sea urchin that lets Starfy roll up into a spiky ball for offense and defense. The levels are bigger now. You got branching paths in this one. Um, again, they were just iterating on the previous games. You just kept improving it a little bit each time. More emphasis on exploration, and the treasure collecting and story items are tracked more cleanly, encouraging a 100% completion.
And kind of what you said about Starfy 2, and this has to be an improvement. Starfy 3's got Wario. Mhm.
There
It
you go.
has in World 8 or Level 8, whatever it is, it does have an appearance of Wario, and Wario can swim very well underwater.
Mhm.
So I didn't get there in my playthrough, but I did look up videos to watch it because I knew that he was in this game. Uh, hey, to put more random Nintendo characters in random Nintendo games. I think that's awesome. Uh,
Yeah.
this game was supposed to be released in China on the IQ, but they had um worries about piracy, and that's funny because that version of the game is available pirated on emulation websites. Now, I don't know. My question is how it got there. Like I'm assuming somebody got a hold of like a super rare dev
Yeah.
kit or prototype and then dumped
I
it
mean,
onto
like,
a computer.
side tangent, but like I'm so fascinated that like you'll always see these stories of like, oh, somebody found this cartridge at a GameStop or something, and it has like a demo build for like Ocarina of Time or something on it. And you're like, how did it wind up there? Like,
Mhm.
where like it's those stories are out there and they're all crazy.
Yeah. We had one on here recently. I can't think of what game it was, but it was like that, but it was a pawn shop in Canada.
Yeah.
And I was like,
Yep. Yep.
how did it make it all the way over to Canada if it started in Japan? So it's crazy, but yeah, things get mixed up or passed down and who knows, but yeah,
311 said, "All mixed up, don't know what to do." Was that 311? I don't know.
it is 311. It is
Okay.
311. Yeah. One of my favorite bands of all time. Um
Okay.
uh Of course, this, as you said, is like the best of the 3, and I think I just ran out of energy to actually react to it the right way, or maybe I'm reacting to it the correct way, and these people are overreacting because, um, I I said that it was the best selling of the 3, but it might be Starfy 1. I might have lied, but it is the best reviewed, given the limited reviews that we have of this game, available. But at least Famitsu gave it a 31 out of 40, which is the highest out of the 3. And, Nintendo Life in 2009 gave it a perfect score, and the writer said that it's one of the greatest platformers ever made, and the article's still online. It's not even on the Wayback
I might
Machine.
have to take a closer look at this game than the hour or 2 I played,
So
yeah.
so I don't know. I mean, it's kinda random. I don't
I
know.
did like it better than the others. Like I said, I feel like they just
Yeah,
kept getting better. I'd rank them 3, 2, 1.
yeah. I mean,
No, no,
it is
feeling
really
like I
good.
really missed out on this. So
Yeah, and it is a really good game, but, like, one of the best platformers ever made. It might be hyperbole, but hey, I like it.
That's
I
gotta
I
be one of the
mean,
bigger categories for best, you know what I mean? Like, there's a bazillion platformers out there.
it's still better than what a lot of video game journalism has turned out to be recently. You know, at least it's
Yeah.
not a big ad. It's pretty random. I don't know if I don't think there was any kind of there was no virtual console for this game in 2009. I have no idea why they reviewed it. I really
Huh,
don't know. Um,
interesting.
so was there anything else? No, not really. Yeah, all these games feel really close, and honestly, I'm
Yep,
probably not going back to them.
yep.
Um, Platformers are hard for me to, like, get into, and then I need to, like, have, like, a cute character that I can, like, connect with a little bit more. This one is 70, and I would recommend this game based on just, like, if you wanna play a Japanese-only game that's only recently available and, you like good platformers. So what's your ranking, Kevin, and then any other recommendations you give?
I ranked it at 85. Like I said, they're all clumped together. This is the highest ranking of the series for me. It's let me see what they're between. So that it puts them right below Wave Race on the Nintendo 64. I have it 84. And then these are like I said, this is the line where it starts to be like, I kind of am iffy on these games. And that's Joe and Mac 2, where I'm like, I kind of like this game. And they're like right in that category. I'm like, I kind of like these games.
Right.
I'm kind of expecting to see Starfy be in Kirby Air Riders. He seems like he would fit right into that.
He's camouflaged
Right.
on the Air Rider.
Right. I mean, we've brought it up so
Oh
many
no,
times
you're
on here.
riding him?
Uh, but
They
I
definitely feel like Kirby games to me.
right, and like the goal with having the original game on Game Boy is that you're gonna have your floaty mascot and your floaty game. But by the time the game actually comes out, it's like Kirby is the floaty guy.
Yeah.
So, yeah, I mean, I'll always, like, say that, where are some of these other lesser known Nintendo characters when it comes to games like Smash or Mario Kart or just,
There's an alternate universe out there where Starfy's in Smash on Nintendo 64 and
mhm,
instead of
Kirby's only
Kirby.
made 2 games.
Yeah, exactly. Kirby's only made 2 games, yeah.
Starfy in the Forgotten Land.
Yeah.
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 Starfy Air Riders.